The second generation Audi Q7 has been around for a decade now, and I previously reviewed the 2015 to 2019 pre-facelift model, and I'll leave a link to that one at the end of this one. It's actually quite a popular video on the channel, and I absolutely love that car. Well, I'm sitting in the facelift of the facelift. This is the 2024 model. This is the newest one you can get from Audi of the Q7. But is it a better car? And in fact, what's got better or worse? Well, I'm going to try and discuss all of that with you. So if that sounds good, buckle up and let's get into it. So the one I'm driving today and I'm going to be focusing the review on is this Q7 Black Edition 50 TDI Quattro. But there is a few other engines you can go for. You can also get a 45 TDI Quattro, which is a lower displacement version of this car with about 55 less horsepower. That one is going to be a little bit more sluggish, but it's still going to be punchy enough. You can also then get a petrol 55 TFSI Quattro, which is going to be very thirsty and it's going to be pretty nasty on first year road tax as a new car. And you can also get the 55E TFSI, which is a plug-in hybrid, which, yeah, unless you're going to be just pottling around town, I'd probably avoid that one, and that also makes some other compromises. So the range kicks off with the S line, and then you can go to the Black Edition, which is this one, and that adds a few extra bits and also some kind of black touches on the outside, like black writing, black grille, etc. Then you can get the Vorsprung, which is almost all the options ticked for you, but obviously there's a price for that. And so very few people are probably going to go for that one. That's going to be super expensive, because this one on the road was 83 grand and change with a few options. Fairly expensive options, to be fair, but the range does start from just over 60 grand, so you can get one cheaper than this. But yeah, the spread of the bottom of the end of the range to the top of the range is a lot. Now, how you want to put perspective on what the real competitors are for this is really up to you. For me, I don't think it's just about, well, how does it compare to other 7-seaters? I think there's other 5-seaters in this kind of cars category that I think are worth mentioning. And this car in plug-in hybrid mode, you can only get a 5-seater anyway. But there is a few cars here that I think, if you were thinking about buying this, you might look at these, and that would be the Range Rover Sport, the Volvo XC90, the BMW X5 5-seater, BMW X7 7-seater, and that can have 3 full rows of seats. The Mercedes GLE, the Mercedes GLS, that's a 7-seater. So there's quite a lot of them out there, you know? So why would you pick this one? Well, let's take it out on the road and start there. So one of the reasons you buy an Audi over a lot of its rivals is the refinement, and yep, it is. It's a lot better than a lot of cars I've driven. It's so quiet in here. And compared to the Audi Q2 actually that I recently drove, it's way better than that, but check out that video for more chat about that. This is a really quality product. It's so well built. The door close just tells you everything you need to know, but it is just such a really, really well sound deadened car. And I just don't hear really anything at all. You can have a proper conversation with your passengers at high speeds, no bother. Even with these big wing mirrors, no sound coming from them. It's absolutely fantastic how well insulated this car actually is. And so from that perspective, it's as good as it gets. So if you're somebody that does a lot of long journeys with a car loaded up with all your stuff and your family, definitely get the 50 TDI, because it's going to be just that bit more torquey and have a little bit more performance when you are driving a very heavy car than the 45 TDI. And also, it is going to be a lot better for long journeys than one of the plug-in hybrids. It's just such a lovely engine, and if you're really being careful, you might get near 40 miles per gallon on a motorway run. But in the real world, you're probably looking at 30 to 35 miles per gallon. But with the blend of performance and economy, I think that is quite acceptable. I'm not going to regurgitate Google and just tell you all the engine specs in this video. I'll leave a link to that for you. But the engine spec on this 50 TDI is really good. 600 Newton meters of torque, 286 brake horsepower, up a few horses from the pre-facelift from 2019. And it's got 0 to 60 in 6.1 seconds, it says on paper. So we should probably test that out, to be honest, because that'll be fun. It's very difficult to find a public road to do a launch on, and one that's flat as well. So this one isn't entirely flat, we're up a slight hill, so we'll take that into account. But this should do 0 to 60 in 6.1 seconds. Let's see if that's for real. Well, that's 60. What do we got? Ooh, 7.1. That's not very good, is it? But to be fair, there was a lot of lag with the gearbox. I'm definitely sure it can do better than that. So I've never found Audi to be particularly great at making gearboxes. I don't like their dual clutch gearboxes. I find them really jerky, and sometimes they're selecting the wrong gear. Not a fan. They're not particularly good at warranty for reliability either. This one's got the 8-speed torque converter, which I definitely prefer. However, when I think back to when I reviewed the pre-facelift compared to this, I don't remember thinking the gearbox was quite as jerky at low speeds, and like when you're coming off the line and like a junction and stuff, as I am finding it in this one. It maybe just needs warning a little bit, but I am finding a little bit of jerkiness, and all of a sudden I've got too much power, and so that's not ideal. But once you're up at speed, it's meshing the gears together great, and it just gets on with its business absolutely fine. So this car gets air suspension as standard, but if you go for the adaptive air suspension, which this car has, and the pre-facelift one that I drove previously had as well, I highly recommend you get that, because it's absolutely amazing. Not only am I riding on a cloud on 22-inch rims in comfort mode, but when you do want to take a bend, it's going to help flatten out the body lean. And so in real time, it's adjusting to your driving situation and keeping it nice and flat. And it just makes the car feel way lighter and more nimble than it actually is. But I do feel like I can throw it into bends reasonably comfortably and not think it's all over the place. I don't notice any major understeer or oversteer. The Quattro all-wheel drive is nice, and it's going to give you extra grip. But the steering is a bit of a surprise. It's better than I was expecting it to be. It's really quite responsive, even in not in dynamic mode. I find it quite good actually. So as a driving package, I think it's pretty much ticking all the boxes. There's not really any chinks in the armour that I'm really spotting here. But at the end of the day, it is a big load lugger. It's not designed to be a sporty car. If you want that, go and get a Porsche Cayenne or something. But for the most part, it gets on and does its thing really, really well. So from a driving perspective, I'm pretty happy in almost all regards. So you can option Alcantara seats as standard instead of these leather ones. I do like leather, particularly because I've got young kids and they make a mess and they're easier to clean, and you can protect them as well anyway. But yeah, they are pretty comfortable, these leather seats. I did like the Alcantara in the pre-facelift that I was in. They were really comfortable. I wouldn't say these probably, I sink into them quite as much. Maybe over time you would more, because this is a very new car, but they hold you in pretty nicely. You got lots of range of adjustment, two-way memory as well. And yeah, they are really quite comfortable, and they look good too. So no problems with the seats. I am slightly wondering if I'm slightly not square to the steering wheel, which I've found in other Audis before. It's maybe not as bad as in a Mercedes, but yeah, I have kind of wondered if there's a slight kind of misalignment there. Could be wrong about that, but I do like the fact that all this cockpit's slightly facing the driver. You know, a lot of cars I drive, that's facing right in the middle or towards the passenger, and that drives me nuts. And that's also potentially a really big cost-cutting red flag. But in this car, it's slightly facing the driver, so I like that driver-centric vibe. And so yeah, I do feel like this is a car that's designed for me as the driver, and that's how it should be. I love this head-up display, really nice, big, clear digits, you know, it's good. But I just find head-up displays, because I always wear polarized sunglasses when it's sunny, and you can't see anything with that. You just can't. So I just never really get that much benefit out of a head-up display for the days that it's sunny, which, to be fair, in Scotland isn't that many actually, so it's a bit of a moot point in that regard. But yeah, if you live somewhere in a hot climate where it's sunny all the time, yeah, I don't know, you might not get much benefit out of your head-up display. Visibility is good in here as well. Big wing mirrors, decent interior frameless mirror, high-res cameras. For a big old car that's over 5 meters long, you know, you want to be careful when you're parking it, obviously, but it's giving you all the right aids to do that. And yeah, generally don't find any problems there. I mean, most proper SUVs give you a commanding view of the road, but you definitely have one in this car. And you can vary the suspension height as well, so that's going to give you more or less of that, but it is extremely good for seeing out and around. I feel like the daddy on top of the world here, you know, I'm just like, I can see everything. It's ace. The lane keep assist is really annoying me. It's vigorously pulled the wheel from me a couple of times on this country road in a really disconcerting manner. To switch it off, you got to press a button, then you got to press 2 taps on the touchscreen, one to say you want to switch off, then the other to be sure you want to switch off. Are you sure you want to switch off your lane keep? Because you might die. No, actually, I think I might die if I leave it on, thanks. Unbelievably annoying, and this speed chime that keeps coming in all the time as well. You got to switch that off every time as well. Unbelievably annoying, dangerous to have to change that on the move. Absolutely hated, and it is really something about modern cars that is driving me bonkers. Now, something else to think about with this car is reliability. You can get extended warranty, worth possibly looking at, because yeah, it's not got a great reputation for that, I'm afraid. Audi generally doesn't anyway, but it's definitely down the lower end of the rankings there. So yeah, the warranty side of things is going to matter. And if you are out of warranty, then you're going to start to potentially have some expensive bills. And if the air suspension wasn't even repaired, that is not cheap. Now, I don't talk much about the looks of cars in my videos because you can see that for yourself. I don't really feel like I need to discuss things that you can see with your own eyes. Do you think this is a nice looking car? Let me know in the comments. Nobody ever actually does, but let me know if you want to. I think it's a lovely looking car for what it's worth. With these 22-inch rims, it's pretty pimping. I really do like it. It's aged very well, this car. I don't always say that about all Audis, but this one has. And for 10 years old, essentially, it still looks good. But it probably is coming to the end of its life soon, probably to be replaced by some monstrosity of an EV. But yeah, enjoy it while it lasts, I would say, because I don't think you're going to see too many diesel engines anymore, full stop, period, end of, coming soon. So they're calling the 2024 facelift a midlife facelift, but it's more like a late life, I think, unless this car's intending to be around for another 10 years, which would make it 20 years old by then. So let's just say it's more of a late life facelift, but the changes are quite subtle. Slightly redesigned bumpers on the front and back, new range of alloys, including these upgraded 22s, which are really nice. And then you've got a slightly different daytime light signature at the front, and the signature on the back slightly different as well. But the main thing I think you'll notice is the honeycomb grille, which replaces more of the barred kind of looking grille. I really like that. So when it comes to testing the build quality of a car, there's few things I think does it better than the door close. And in the pre-facelift, I remember thinking it was really, really good. So what's it like in this one? That is probably the best door close sound and feel I've ever experienced in a car, no joke. That is like, it sucks the air in and seals it, and it's just got this lovely thud. It's really heavy, it's actually a very heavy door, so you really have to pull it shut. But my God, that is a really quality door close. Probably the best I've ever seen. So unless you go for some ugly people carrier style minivan type car, this is one of the most practical cars I think you can get, and it has a very, very big boot. Now the stats are similar to the pre-facelift which I reviewed, but this car with 5 seats in place has 780 litres of boot space, which is mental. That's a lot of space, one of the best in the class. If you put the back 2 seats up, which you can do fully electrically, which is really, really cool. It's not just like electromechanical. You literally just stand here and it does it for you. And that gives you only 295 litres of space. But if you put all the seats down, you've got nearly 2,000 litres. So it's like a camper van. It's fantastic. No load lip either. It is just a great load bay. You've got a couple of cup holders for your seats in the back if people are sitting there. But whatever, it's just a great load bay. This is a very, very practical car. I love it. So one of the party pieces of the Q7 is how versatile the seats are. Forget the fact you've got 2 extra ones built into the boot. These 3 seats in the middle row are all independently moving. You slide forward and back, you can recline them as well. And you can really stretch your feet out underneath these other 2 seats, and also headroom's not too bad either. So you can get super comfy even if you're over 6 feet tall, I reckon. But what I love the most is that these seats are all independent, and so this middle seat, for example, it's slightly narrower than our 2 seats, but it feels like a proper seat. They've not shortchanged the middle passenger. They've got a slight transmission tunnel to deal with, but it's not really that bad. But yeah, they're gonna have a pretty comfortable time as well. So this is a great car for carrying 3 people in the back. You've also got ISOFIX on all the seats in the back here, which is really quite rare. You've also got it on the front passenger seat too, and in the seats in the back. So this has got 6 ISOFIX points. How many cars can you say that about? Absolutely brilliant. You've also got, get it down, center armrest, which is quite a workout to get it down, but that is sturdy, built to last. That's a really soft point for your elbow there. One of the doors is the same, so you can really sit and be comfortable. These cup holders though, I like the fact they're built in and can be hidden away so you don't put your elbow in a hole, but they're really small. I don't know what they were thinking there. They've got teeth on them, but they will not be holding much more than a Red Bull can. So that's a bit of a shame. The door bins, they're quite big, so you get a big bottle in there, but they're plasticky. There's no felt lining in them, which is a bit of a shame. You've got pockets in the back of the seats, but they're kind of netted. They could be a bit more expensive feeling. But something I do love is it's got the Climatronic 4-zone climate control, and you've got nice digital controls for that in the back here, and you've got 2 USB-Cs and a 12 volt. This is a lovely place in this middle row. Now this car's getting a lot of props for the fact it's got Isofix in these rearest 2 seats. That's amazing and very rare. But that's kind of where the awesomeness ends. Okay, these seats are really comfy and just like the other seats in the car, but my knees are right up to my chest, and that's with these seats in the middle row as far forward as they get. So if they were further back, I'd literally be chewing on my kneecaps. They are really, really not giving you a lot of knee room here. So yeah, that's a bit of a shame, to be honest. So basically this is for children back here and for short journeys. You know, you're taking your kids to football and you're giving their mates a lift or something, and they put them in the back for a few minutes. That's basically all this is for. These are not really good seats for long journeys for 7 people. If you want a car that's better for that, maybe get something like a BMW X7. So carrying on from the door closed build quality, I think just for effect we should do it from the inside as well. Oh, that is just amazing. That is so good. But the build quality in here is fantastic. You're not going to have creaks and rattles after 20,000 miles or even 100,000 miles. It's so well built. Materials feel fantastic. Soft touch, dense materials. Oh, soft elbow points. It's great. Everything about that is very good. But where I'm not so happy versus the major facelift that came in 2019 is a couple of areas. First of all, there's a lot of piano black in here, and I don't know what they're thinking here with this. And this, for a car of this price, you know, it looks great when it's a new car and it's not scratched already and it's not smudged and all that, you know, but it just gets tatty so quickly over time. And I mean, I'm looking at the passenger seat. I'm thinking if one of my kids was riding shotgun with me and they put one of their feet up in there, instantly scratching that beyond belief, you know? Oh, it's giving me nightmares already. But it feels like all car manufacturers, particularly premium ones, seem to be doing this. So it's not just Audi, but like, did they get together and go, guys, there's a really good cost-cutting measure here I think we could all adopt. Why don't we all do it? And then that way it's not a reason for anybody not to buy our car specifically. So if we all do it, let's agree to that. And they went, yeah, okay, cool, I'm fine with that. You know, it feels a bit like that because they all are doing it, even though everybody in every car reviewer ever universally says they don't like it. The other major thing is that the pre-facelift that I reviewed had the old school rotary wheel and the old really intuitive Audi MMI infotainment system. And this newer one, well, this is the first time I've actually reviewed an Audi that's got it. As far as touchscreens go, it's a pretty good one, but it's, again, you know, everything's gone into a touchscreen and become less intuitive to use on the move, and I would argue less safe. And just the fact that you don't have this lovely wee scroll wheel with amazing Audi clickiness. Now listen to the sound of this. Oh, that just sounds so good. And that's the thing, Audi, they used to have the best clicky buttons in the game, and they're all gone. There's not a single button for me to press and do that lovely ASMR vibes, you know. There's none of that. They've got rid of all that lovely buttony pressy stuff, and now everything's based on a touchscreen. You have a few shortcut buttons in the middle there, but your climate controls, all a touchscreen, a really funny angle to use on the move. The owner of this car is also moaning about this. He doesn't like it either. The touchscreen is quite far away to reach. It's a good touchscreen and it's responsive and it's as well laid out, I guess, as you could ask for, but it's still a touchscreen. And so on the move, you know, you're taking your eyes off the road. The old school rotary wheel, you know, you could just do it without thinking and looking, and it was just so easy to use. Little folder structure in the infotainment, you know. I do not understand why car companies that did things so well like that have decided to get rid of it. It doesn't make any sense. BMW are the same, you know. It's like this pressure to look more modern and techy that people just don't really want. I just don't know what to say about it. So yes, this is good, but it's still way less functional, I think, or easy to use, more to the point, than the old system, and that's a shame. Now with the 2024 facelift, you're getting a few extra bits of tech, and that includes Alexa, so that's good, and you've got Spotify built in as well. So as far as that goes, it's as modern a system as you could want, and you can obviously then just use your wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto to use like your voice control through Google and all that, and it'll be really, really good for that. So the tech is good, It's just about how you use it. I just wish there was a bit more options. The steering wheel's lovely though, I really like it, and the fact is you've still got nice clicky buttons that are really nice. Sort of when you press them, you can really feel yourself pressing them. They're not like one big piece of plastic that they've used to cut corners. But yeah, these buttons are nicely damped and I really like them. But the steering wheel, especially the flat bottom one with the Black Edition, very nice. I really do think this is a lovely steering wheel to hold. And this cockpit, it looks sharper than the pre-facelift one, but it's still roughly the same functionality and customization in terms of maps and dials and stuff. But it looks great, but the old one looked great as well. So I don't see that as a massive step forward, to be honest. It is better, but I can't exactly see how. Now, the storage and practicality side of things is a bit of a mixed bag. No sunglasses holder for stars, but this center armrest, which, you know, I love the feel of it, is really heavy and, oh yeah, it feels built to last. You've got a wireless charge pad in there, my phone does fit in it. You've also got a couple of USB-C ports. And this does go back and forward a bit, but in other Audis, you got one that ratcheted, and you could put your elbow up at a different angle, and it just was really nice while you were driving. I wish this one did that, but it doesn't. So that's a bit of a shame, but it's really nice and wide, so two elbows will sit very comfortably there. Elbow point in the door is soft, but this door bin, big, very big, but no felt lining in there, so things could rattle about. Rubber mat on the bottom though, that'll help a little bit if it's like coins and stuff. And if you've got a big ball, it can definitely go in there, which is just as well because the cup holders in the middle, they're not very good. They're quite shallow, they're not very wide. I can't actually get this bottle in there. And this one, yeah, that's really not great for cup holders. So a bit disappointed with that. 12 volt is good, but yeah, I just think that they could have done better with their cup holders. Glove box is a decent size and it's felt lined, so why couldn't they put the felt lining in the door bins? That's a bit of a shame, but yeah, that's pretty much it for storage. So this car's got a few options, and I happen to have the spec sheet from the owner, so I'm going to just quickly tell you the price of some of these to give you some context. The paint, in case you're wondering, is Mythos Black Metallic, that's £795. The 22-inch Audi sport wheels with the anthracite black high sheen, they are £750. And you also get the Tech Pack Pro added on for £5,295. So what do you get in that? You get Remote Park Assist Plus, heated rear seats, USB-C ports with charging function in the rear, 4-zone climate control, which we talked about, and the panoramic sunroof. Not quite sure what panoramic sunroof's got to do with tech, but it looks good. That is to say though that the standard tech pack has a few nice things as well, including the Bang & Olufsen sound system, which I'll talk about in a second, the ambient lighting pack, which has been hard to see in this sunlight, a 360 camera, park assist with parking aids and head-up display, which yeah, is great as long as you've not got polarized sunglasses on. But this Bang & Olufsen sound system is very nice. However, you don't necessarily need to go for it unless you really love your tunes, because the standard Audi sound system is actually quite good and it still gets a sub and 10 speakers and 180 watts of power. So it's better than a lot of standard sound systems, and I can attest to that from previous cars I've been in. So it's definitely something to think about. Do you really need that? But certainly having all the other stuff that comes with the Tech and the Tech Pro pack, worth considering. Something I also love about this car, and you're getting low down the range, is Matrix LED headlight technology, which in a lot of cars sometimes is an option, and that is a really awesome thing to have if you drive on country roads at night a lot. Dips its beams for you without you having to do anything, dances the beams around oncoming traffic, probably will never miss a beat. It's really good technology, and essentially it will just give you maximum visibility, minimum effort. Something else that's new for the 2024 is the OLED rear tail lights, and they just look so sharp at night. Obviously I'm not able to drive it at night just now, but if you were behind this car at night, you would be able to tell, if you knew your Audis, this car from a long way off, because the rear light signature is so clear and it just looks ace. And I think, if I'm being totally honest, this car is more techy than the older one, but because the old one still had Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, you could still get things like Matrix LEDs, and you could get adaptive cruise and stuff like that. The things I really want in a car, you could already get in that pre-facelift, but you had a much better system for controlling the infotainment. So the big thing that's changed is the infotainment and this whole center console area, which I think is a step back. But I do like these leather seats you can get as standard instead. And I think the styling's got better as well. And obviously there's a few more apps and stuff as well. So all that is good. As far as infotainments go, it's still a good one. You know, it's not a bad infotainment system. I just find touchscreens to use on the move, and I'll say it objectively, in every car are not great, and the position of this one is very far down, so I feel like I'm looking down. So that's my main complaint about this car and the Piano Black. Otherwise, it's just as awesome as the one I previously drove, and I would still have it in a heartbeat. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please leave me a comment below, and if I've got anything wrong, feel free to let me know. I'll humbly correct the record, no problems there at all. But if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, share, and don't forget to subscribe, because there's loads more coming up on the channel. And if you've got a car that you think you would be interested in me reviewing for you for a courtesy car wash and valet, light valet, I will happily have a chat with you about that, because I'm always looking for new cars to do, because it's not that easy to get access to cars, to be honest. Thanks to the owner of this car for letting me have a go of it. It's a real treat. And yeah, you know, getting cars is definitely a key part of being able to do this. The more subs I've got, the more I might get access to better cars as well. So thanks to everybody for supporting the channel. I'll see you in the next one.